Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Greg's Vintage Workshop. We are going to get started on the IG-102 that I bought off of eBay. That's what we got under the cover. It came with the cover, so let's pull it off. Ta-da! There we are. So, it's very clean. It's a very clean IG-102 signal generator. I mean, it looks like it's basically probably never been used almost. I mean, it's even got a decent cord in it. I'm very impressed with it. I mean, it's like super clean. And I only paid $30 for it. The guy was asking like $45 on eBay. Only had one picture, which was not a very good picture to start with. I decided to just offer him $30 if you'd take it, and it cost me another, I think, 13 or 14 to get it shipped. But hey, for the price, I mean, it looks awesome. I mean, I'm very curious to see what it looks like inside. I don't want to power it up until I look inside. Yeah, so let's do that. So let's take this thing apart. Get a screwdriver here, and we'll take this couple of screws out here and just see if it looks as good on the inside as it does on the outside, because like I said, right now I'm like totally impressed. I'm actually setting these little screws where I normally haven't set anything, so hopefully I don't lose them. I'm setting them in my little trough for my Weller soldering iron there, where the tip cleaner is. So I'm just going to set them in there. So let's see what happens. Coming out. Coming out. All right. There it is. Looks about as clean on the inside from what I see as it did on the outside. Let's see if we can get this cord fed through here. A long cord. There we go. There's the case. Again, it's super clean case. Alrighty, let's take a look and see what we got here. Doug, this looks very familiar to what I saw yours looking like. Same exact electrolytic cap. 220s. Okay. We got our two tubes. I learned from Doug not to set it down on. That one's a 12AT7. This one right here, 12AT7. Yeah, 6AN8A is what that is. Okay, so there's that side. Now let's flip it around here. Take a look at this side. Very clean inside. I mean, to the point I'm kind of like, Doug, did it ever actually even get used? I'm gonna take my magnifier and kind of look closely at all of the connections and just see what they look like. I am going to mark these tubes and pull them out. I'll mark it right on the case so I get them right back in the right spot. So let me come back once I've done. So I got the tubes out. As you can see, I marked there. I decided to test this electrolytic, and as you can see, I'm on the one side. It's testing about 142 microfarads. So anyway, that one, that's supposed to be 20, and where we're at there. There's the other one. And this one's testing right at about 150. Well, it's varying down there. Again, it's dropping around. So, obviously that one has got to be changed out. I think I got I might have a couple of 22s in there I can stick in there. So we need to do that. The other thing I noticed is this electro switch is, I thought it was stuck. It's just real stiff. So I have to get some lubrication in that switch. So obviously, the more I turn it, the easier it's getting. I think it's just gummed up inside that shaft area. But I got to tell you, when you look at this thing, I don't think it ever, it's kind of scary. I don't think it ever worked because I don't think it was ever used. I think somebody built it and it either didn't work or something. It may have worked, I guess, but the switch doesn't even look like it's had any contact made or anything in there. I mean, everything looks brand new in this thing. I think what I'm going to do is lube that switch up, change those electrolytics, and then put some power to it and frequency counter and just see what it does. So let me get those electrolytics changed out, and we'll come back. See what I got over there. I think I have what I need, but I'm not positive. We shall see. I will be right back. You know, I was watching my video playback last night, and I noticed that when I had checked my electrolytic, that I hadn't snipped anything loose, so it was actually still in circuit. So those super high readings I was getting, like 139 or whatever, were probably not accurate. So I decided that I would recheck them today with it obviously out of circuit because I changed it, and just see what it should have been. And this is what I was looking at originally, is 220s. Get you guys in focus, hopefully. There, 20 plus 20. And then what I couldn't read before because it was twisted around here was the 200 volts DC. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and check this now that it's out of circuit, and we'll see what happens. And then I might bring my ICO bridge comparator in here and stick it on there too, and just see how it tests out on that as well. But just for the moment, let's go ahead and do this. So let's turn it on. Capacitor range. I'll put this little short black lead on here as well. So we'll do this one first. Get you back on the screen. Okay, so it's reading 64.9, 64.8 microfarad on that one. And 67, 61, 60, 60 on that one. 60, yeah, 60. So, considering these were supposed to be 20s, I'd say that it was out of tolerance. So, good we changed that. I think I'm going to go get the ICO here and bring it in here, and we'll take a look at it on that and see what we get. Okay. So right now I have got my, I had to have my magnifier out so I could see the scales. Oh my goodness, it's terrible getting old. Anyway, I've got my ICO 950A out here. If you guys look at an earlier video, I restored this. The only thing that it's not working out right now is my electrolytic test neon bulb is burned out, and I haven't got a replacement for it. Anyway, I got it set up on the 0.1 microfarad to 50 microfarad scale. These are supposed to be 20s. And what I've done is I went ahead, let me get my hand out of your way, I went ahead and, if you watch the eye over here, if you can see that opening and closing, I took it to its widest portion, which is right there, and it is slightly more than 50. It's like 55, 56. I also took the power factor to sharpen up my edges. The power factor is about 8 or 9. And this is on one leg of the electrolytic. So at this point, we'll go ahead and put some voltage to it and see what we get. It's supposed to be good to 200 volts. This particular ICO goes to 500. I believe in earlier testing I got to 540 with it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and see if we can check some voltage on this thing. So we're going to go ahead and put that off and turn this over here to the voltage test. There we go. And we're going to rotate this up little by little, and it should open, staying open, it should close and then open back up as we put power to it. So there's 10. Wow, okay. There's about 5, and it's not closing out, just closed. Alright, so it's not opening up. It's closed at about 10. And it's not opening back up. So yeah, that puppy's bad. Alright, let me get it off that, and we will switch over to the other side and see what we get on the other side. With that. Alright, so let's go ahead and swap this one out for this one. And get the hole. There we go. Open that up. Go ahead and hook this back up. And see what this one comes in at. There we go. Sharpen our edges up. Right there. And that one sharpened up a little bit lower than the other one. That looks like that's at about 6. And as far as our microfarads, we are pretty much the same as the other one was, at about 55 maybe. So that's that. Let's go ahead and take it over to the voltage check. Yeah, that one's not working either. And that one's about 10, same as the other. Alright, there, it's 10. Yeah, and it's not opening up. Alright, so here's what we got. I had two 22s. Unfortunately, one was a radial and one was an axial, but it is what it is. They worked fine. Went ahead and tied the two negative leads together here on this end, and then I've got obviously I had to add a length of wire to this one because I only went so far, and I got this one. So I will get the negative hooked down here to that, and I'll cut those off and we'll get these hooked in. Let me bring you back when I get that done. Okay, I resituated this one a little bit. I had it over coming off to the side, this lead. I moved it over to the middle so these would be closer together to be able to go through the hole easier. And then I also pumped a little hot glue in there just to keep everything nice and tight. So between the shrink wrap, the heat, between the heat shrink, the piece of heat shrink here that just fell off, I think we'll be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and solder this on here to the ground and run those in the hole and run them to where they need to be. So let me get that done. I guess one thing I need to do before I connect everything up, and I just have that stuck in there right at the moment, is test them to make sure that they're okay. So let's go ahead, since I've soldered things and hooked this all up, let's make sure everything's okay. So here's the one lead for the one side. connect there. And we've got 21.5 microfarads, so pretty darn close to the 20. And let's see if I can get into this other lead. Just clip onto that one. There we go. And we're at 23.1. So, and those were 22s. So that's pretty accurate. 22.9. Alright, good. So now we got decent electrolytic. Now let me just finish soldering them in. Okay, folks, I got it in there. I think I did it pretty good justice. It looks pretty good sitting there. It's not going anywhere, and I think that it should do fine. So, all right. I think that I'm going to lubricate that shaft, and then we're going to put some juice to it and see what we get here. Let me get that shaft lubricated. Okay, so back to the IG-102. Now, since last night, what I did was I came in this morning and I took my deoxit spray, not my bulk deoxit, I have a can of deoxit spray, and I sprayed into the pots, this one and this one, as well as the switches in here and in here. So that all should be lubricated. So I think I'm about ready to plug this thing in and bring it up and see what's going on. You know, I just saw something I didn't see earlier, and I'm hoping that it was just something that the guy did here that's unrelated. Maybe he just used this tape to hold those wires together. There's some electrical tape right there. I get nervous when I see electrical tape. I see electrical tape there as well. So this may or may not come on. I'm going to load the tubes back into it. And you know what? I'm going to test the tubes first. Okay, I've never really showed me testing tubes before. I actually have two tube testers. I have this B&K model 606 that are used for newer tubes, and then I got this Precision that I use on the it's a 912 that I use for the older big tubes. Alright, so right now I've got the 6A and 8 in there, which is right there. So I've set the heater for 6, A to 32, B to 6, and I'm using 8 for C for the shorts. I've had it plugged in there for about 2 or 3 minutes, and you can see the heater filament is lit. We'll check it for shorts. If the light stays on in any particular place, that's indicative of a short. I'm rotating. A flash like that is normal in some locations. Like that one, it's fine. And we'll stay on 8. Alright, so let's look at our meter. Grid emission, it's good. Quality, good. Ooh, wait, she's dropping down. She's dropping fast. Now she's going back up. Well, that's interesting. Coming back to good, though. That was interesting. Let's try it again. Up. And now she's staying there, not dropping. So it hasn't had power in it for so long, it took it, went down a little bit, and then came back up and is staying there now. So we're going to consider that one good. Let me get the 12 in there. Okay, so I've got the 12AT7 in there right now. That was our settings. Filament set to 12. A is set to 32. B is set to 10. C is set to 2. So let's go ahead and check it for shorts. On 1, had a flash, but not a big deal. Leave it back on 2. Yep, we're on 2. You can see a little filament lid in there. Try our grid emission. We're good. Try our quality. And we're good. So the tube should be good to go. Alright, let's go put them in. Put some power to this thing, see what we get. Okay folks, here we are back at the Heathkit RF signal generator, the IG-102. And as you guys know, I got the electrolytic replaced back here in the back, and I went through all of the connections and I checked all of the resistors, and everything was within specification. So pretty happy everything's going to be pretty good with this thing. I didn't change this cap, I didn't change this cap, I didn't change that cap. I did take this cap loose, this one up here, took it loose on one end and checked it, and it actually checked right where it's supposed to be at. So I didn't bother to change it. I figured I'd wait and see how it went when I checked how this thing was going to work, or if it was going to work. So let me show you what else I'm doing. So switchcraft, I think that's called a switchcraft. May or may not be called a switchcraft. Anyway, I actually have some BNC connectors I could change these out with, but this is in such nice shape I didn't want to modify it that way. So what I did, and you can see I got one on here already, what I did was I bought a couple of these adapters. I guess it's like a microphone jack or something to BNC. And what I did, you can see it sticks out of there. I cut that off, the center post, I cut it off, and then I grinded it down. What I attempted to do is, you can see there's a couple knots sticking up in there. They probably have a special tool to fit those so that they can unscrew this part right here off. I got a feeling the center portion is threaded, and that's like a nut that screws over the top of it to hold the outer piece. I figured if I could get the outer piece off, it'd be easier for me to cut that off. Unfortunately, I made a tool using a socket that would fit in there and notched it, but way too tight. They might have Loctite or who knows what else. So I gave up on that idea. I just went ahead and cut it off using my cut-off tool for my Dremel, and then a little small Dremel to get it deeper inside there. So that's what I think I'm going to do. Is I think I'm just going to go ahead and modify this one, because you can see it won't even start to fit until I cut that down. And in that way I can hook BNC to this easily, but I'm not changing the factory piece, right? I'm keeping it the same. You know, might be overkill to do something like that, but I don't want to. I could put the BNCs. I put BNC on the ICO, but I'm not going to put BNC on this one. I think I'm just going to modify these. So I'm going to get this other one modified so I have it done. I can stick it on the face of that, and then we'll come back. Alright, I got this modified. As you can see, considerably shorter in there now, and should fit on here pretty good, I would think. And I polished that up a little bit too, as well as the threads, to make sure we get a good connection on it. Right, see what I'm doing here. There we go. Nice and tight. There we go. Alright, so now we have our BNCs on there, but I didn't have to modify the actual device to do it. So now it's still like its original. Alright. A little bit of mark going on right there. That might be something to get on there. See if I can clean that off. Alright. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. Okay. And turn it on so it can start warming up, and we're going to check it out. Let me get where you guys can see that so you can see the dial light come on. In fact, I'm going to resituate you guys on a tripod. I will be right back. Alright, I got you set up on a tripod, and I have hopefully lights where they're not washing things out. I'm trying to get it where you guys can see what I'm doing here. What I've got here, this is a frequency counter that I built about a year and a half ago. If you remember, I showed you guys the little frequency counter I had earlier. I said I was going to somehow put on that, and I still very well may. But this is the one I built about a year and a half ago. And I just bought a aluminum box and a switch, and I made the little bezel cover and everything, you know, on there for it. And it works pretty good. So what I'm going to do, so I can come with my frequency counter into my BNC, and then I can take it out to a radio. That's the way I designed it to do. So right now I'm going to go ahead and connect this up using a BNC cable. So let me get that done here. So I'm going to get this on here. Apologize for blocking your vision. Alright, there's that. I'll put it on our my dog's up there having a fit about something. Alright, so we're on there. And let's go ahead and get that where you guys can see it. I'm not sure what the rate of this would be. Hopefully it's not going to be too blinky. But there we are. So I see it flickering a little bit in the camera light there, but I think it'll be okay. So let's go ahead and turn this on. And you see the indicator lights on? Yep, good. We're seeing, oh, we're showing 299.18 right now. Okay. So right now I've got it on frequency B. I think it's B. Yeah, B. Alright, so it's on frequency B right now. Now this hasn't had time to really warm up, but let's go ahead and reading frequency B is going to be this line right here. So it's saying 299 right now. This particular frequency is supposed to go from 310 to 1100. If I put this thing right on the 310, let's see where we're at. As close as I can see it is 310. So that's like 310 right there. And it looks like it's off a little bit because it's showing 303. And let's go on up here. Let's take it on up to the 455 mark and just see where we're at with. So if I get it right where it looks like it's on the 455 to me, right there, 451.72, take it up almost to the 460 mark, about 459 on the dial, and we have 454, so take it right to the 460. So I'm on the 460 line, maybe 459. I'm kind of standing at an angle here, so it looks like it's maybe about 4 kilocycles off. That's actually not too bad. Let's take it on up. Let's take it up to like the 60, if I can see the 60 there. Looks like 60 right there. We get 593. Yeah, actually I stand at an angle. That looks like 460, so again, about 5 kilocycles off. Take it up to like 90. There's a 90 right there. We're at 88. 88, so pretty accurate. I'm pretty happy. That's actually a little bit different than my Echo. Let's see, run. That's about 110. Yeah, 105. So it's about 5 megacycles off. I don't know what the accuracy on this was intended to be. Let's go to the C scale. Let's see what we get. So C scale is going to be red on the top up here, and let's just go down and say where I can see it easier. Let's go to 140. It looks like 139. That's not too bad. That's pretty darn good there. Take it on down to the 11 there. That looks pretty close. Right there. That's 108. That's off a little bit. Not bad though. Run on up here. Get it on the 26. That looks 26. Right on the money. And what are we? 2.57. So again, that's pretty impressive. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's take it up to the D scale, which is 3.1 megacycles to 11 megacycles, and let's see. We're on the D scale. It means we're going to be on this one here. So let's move it down to where I can see where I'm at. And you're supposed to divide by 10. That's the 45 right there. And we're at 4.45, so pretty darn close. Get up to the 50. 494. So all in all, not bad at all. About the A scale. So A scale looks like there's 13, and we're at 12.9. Take it up to 20. There's 20. And we're on 20. Looks like, yep, 20. You know, it's actually clearer for me to look at it through the camera than it is to look at it out here. So I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. So this is pretty accurate. What I usually do anyway with both, well now with this one, but also with my ICO, is I pass it through my frequency counter that I made anyway, so that I know I'm exactly on like 455 or whatever I'm setting it to. So I'm going to leave this alone, call this done. This is good enough for me. I'm very happy with it. So let me get this thing buttoned up and we'll call this Heathkit IG-102 a wrap. I decided I'm going to fuse this IG-102, so I'm going to do this right now. What I did is I've got a spot right here that there's nothing on the other side, and I'm just going to send it right between those screws and see if we can't get a hole in there. There we go. Let's turn it around, see if you guys can see in there what I'm doing. I just cleared that, let's get some of the crap out of there. Well, I still think it's a good spot for it though. Alright, let's see if we can get that in there. Easy, you say. Huh. Let me get a pair of needle nose. My fingers are too fat. See if we can do it that way. There we go. I think that's got it. I think that's got it. I'll bend that away just a little bit like that so we can get our wire in there. Okay, so I'm gonna run a wire. We're gonna take our positive lead loose here and I'll splice onto it. I'll run up here and then we'll run back down there. Alright, so you guys can see there's the fuse holder. There's the wires, spliced it down here, pulled it out, ran out and back down there. So now we're running through the fuse for the power. The other thing I did, because this was a non-polarized plug, I went ahead and marked the neutral on it with silver. Put an in by it so that I always know when I'm going to plug it in. And hope I'm showing you, you can see it, that I get in the right spot. Also, because this did not have a cap on it, I just filled it up with hot glue. And everything's nice and solid. Let's go ahead and test it out. Make sure it's going to come on. Plug it in correctly. I think you guys can see the bulb. There we go, I think. And flip it on. Wait a second. Make sure we're good here. Oh, might help if I put a fuse in it. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? Alright, let's try it again. That's better. It helps when you have a fuse. Alright, so fuse is on the inside. Obviously if it doesn't work, I know to go check the fuse on the inside, but at least we're still clean from the outside. You won't be able to tell I did that. So, okay, I'm going to button this up and I'll be back. Okay folks, here we have it. Final checkout, light comes on, we're good to go. So I guess we're going to call it done on the IG-102. I'm very happy with it. Turned out well. It's going to work good for my future radio projects. If you're not a subscriber, I ask you subscribe. We got a lot of cool projects this year. I haven't decided what my next one's going to be, but what it's going to be, I'll post it when it comes up in a week or two. And so from now, from Greg at Greg's Vintage Workshop, the signal generator IG-102 is ready to go to work in my workshop. So we're going to call this one a wrap. Thank you for watching.